Welcome y'all again to another episode of the Shout Out to You show. I got my guys back here. I got my guy Weez, I got my guy Daniel, and we want to come back and talk to y'all because last time we spoke, we talked about a few things, and before we got into the really good part of the conversation, somebody audio wasn't working.
Stop it. Get some help.
So we had to run it back for y'all.
We're not gonna do that.
We had to run it back for y'all. Again, you guys can hear this episode on everywhere you stream your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, and all that other good stuff. If you want to see the actual recording, guys, you can see the actual recording on YouTube itself, and you can see the shenanigans we got on here. Aside from that, how's you guys' day so far?
Man,
my day is good. My day. Whoa! Wait, that's
crazy. A bunch of stuff going on, but all in all, it's a productive day, so that's a good thing.
That's right. My day was smooth outside of work, and I want to say something real quick since we about to start the podding like that. Hey, y'all, I went out of my way to go and get a mic for y'all. So if my audio is still tripping, it's not on me. That's on that guy on that. Nah, that's the wrong corner. Up on that corner right there. That is his engineering skills. It's not my mic. It's gonna be on him. So blame him. Don't blame me, because that was a good conversation we missed out on. But we back at it though. We back at it. It's cool.
See this is what we talk about, accountability. See, no one ever is taking accountability for this.
Hey, nah, look, I said I had to go out and invest. So I had to invest for the sake of the community. You feel me? So
I'm proud of you.
Put money where my mouth was. So we good.
I'm proud of you. You know what? Speaking of investing, let's talk about people investing in their. How do I want to say this? Because we got to bring it up because I know everybody's talking about it, and we got to mention it. And I know some folks are sick of hearing about it. I know part of me is sick of hearing about it, but we got to talk about it. And so, the Sexy Red Drake song that everybody wants to chat about, they talking about how my man flipped it into something else and whatnot. And we and you said about investing, so I know this man's investing in this L to try to make it turn into a W. And honestly, to me, and I know me and Trey, we talked about this. The verse is trash, but you said that he flipped it and made it better. So please tell the folks. Before you tell the folks, I know you think it's good. Daniel, what is your opinion on this, my guy? Did you hear the verse?
So I'll be honest. I didn't hear the entire song. I heard, I think, like a 1 minute thing, like off Instagram or something. So I think I heard the bulk of it. I don't know what to say, man. I think he's just doing what he thought he should do. It's like double down or seize the moment or just take advantage of the opportunity. No press is bad press, right? That type of thing, or even bad press is good press. I mean, it's just one of those things. So I don't know. I don't think it was a bad decision from that point of view, but it wasn't something I'm ever going to listen to. I didn't hear that snippet and go, dang, I got to hear the whole song now. I did not Google it. I didn't put it on YouTube, nothing. I accidentally heard it, and that was good enough.
Go ahead, Trey. Go and defend the trash. Go ahead, man.
All right. While you putting your disclaimer on it, let me put my disclaimer on it. First of all, I'm not a Sexy Red fan. So the song in general, Mike, you know my stance on it. But that's that conversation may take a little bit more than the time that we have for today. So I'm gonna just put that on there. I'm not a Sexy Red fan. So I took no time to listen to the song as a whole. I listened to the whole Drake verse as a whole. Now, being in unbiased ear, that has to give credit where credit is due.
There you go.
I'm not putting the verse in the top of anything. I'm not saying the verse is no type of fire emoji, no 100 emoji, none of that. I get it. But what I am saying though is that for him to take that and flip it the way that he did, that is a genius flip. So for y'all to say anything otherwise, I ain't gonna say what it sound like, but I'm
Say what it
just
sound
saying
like.
it sounds like you sipping on a little bit of the haterade. It don't sound like an unbiased ear because you have to really think about the culture that we in the state of hip hop. Who can you name with the five fingers that you got connected to your wrist that can take a situation like that for one to where it started with Ross as a catchphrase. Then this man on Instagram went ahead and made a whole Odie behind it. Metro took that, made a whole flip behind it. Anybody else, that would have put them under the bus. Like, all right, I don't know what to do in this situation. Let me hop on. If it was Meek Mill, let me hop on Twitter and try to, you feel me? Like, come on, not everybody
Mhm.
can take that situation and look at that and be like, okay, how can I, all right, bam. Then he flipped it to what? Bitches love, something drizzy, I forgot what the flip was, but the fact that he flipped it, took the beat itself and made it into something else, that's a genius flip. So you got to give credit where credit is due because not too many can do that. That's all I said. That's all I'm saying. Not too many can do that out of the situation that he was in. I'm not saying that as an OW. I'm not saying that it makes the L sting a little bit less. All I'm saying is that in that specific situation, that was a genius flip. Y'all got to give credit where credit is due.
Okay. So you said
Can
not
I
too
add
many
one little
people
thing?
can do
No,
that.
but go ahead.
Go for it. Go for it.
I was gonna say it'd be funny if Drake like tweeted at Metro like, "Hey, you heard my verse? Can I get that free beat?"
Yeah, for real. Because ain't nobody else had no better verse. Even if the verse
Hey,
was trash, nobody else did it better than that.
he said not too many people could do that. And this is true. And also, he ain't do it either. Because that verse was trash. That song was trash.
Dang, I'm gonna have
100%
to
trash.
hear the whole
And
thing.
Come on,
this comes
Mike.
okay, so I have no dog in the fight. I got no dog in the fight, regardless of who I prefer more. If Kendrick would have lost, it would have been an L, and then I would have been I. If Drake would have lost, it'd been L. It's just hilarious. But the thing to me is, all right, we talking about flips. We talk about how he turned it and then made it something different. That girls and the reason why he's named BBL Drizzy is because girls contact him for BBLs because he knows the
Dope, but he
surgeon.
actually took the word and like not I'm not saying in the verse, but I'm saying he actually took the phrase and turned it into something else. Now, even if it wasn't the best attempt, Mike, it was an attempt. Not everybody's gonna step out on that ledge and make that attempt.
Let me tell you this. How many people who shoot game winners and miss? How many of those do you remember?
There's been a lot of close calls, but Jordan also said, Mr. Jordan himself, greatest of all time, said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So
100%. 100%. And he definitely missed on that because that was trash.
I mean,
Trash.
It
I'm
it
doubling down.
come
Trash.
on,
I
man. We not
I don't
doing that.
know. I honestly though, like I do have to say that even doing it at all when he should just leave it alone, like I prefer the attempt than not doing it. That's even what I said last time we talked about. Even though the heart was it part six that Drake did, even
Also
though
trash.
that was like not yeah, of course it was. We're all in agreement that was not the right song to make. But
Yeah,
in
nah.
terms of like making it quickly and getting it out there, like that's I still was like, oh, he dropped like the next day or two later or whatever. That's good. Like you moved quickly. I like that. But then when I heard it, I was like, ooh, I wish he had taken his time with this. But
It
you
was a
know,
rush. It was a
yeah.
rush. You could tell it was a rush. The song
You
itself
got.
is trash, and I ain't even heard the whole song, but I just know it's trash.
I heard the whole song because you know what? I told myself, hey, when I first heard the verse, I was like, this is absolutely hot trash juice. But then I told myself, I was like, look, you got to listen to the whole song to understand what's going on. Because you know how sometimes you hear a verse and you're like, what does this have to do with anything? Then you hear the whole song
That's
and you're okay. I see what you were doing, and now I don't. I hate it less. You know. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hear the whole song. And I know me and you talked about this, Trey. And first of all, Sexy Red is nowhere near my playlist. Sexy Red is for uh a certain type of
The
audience
emotionally unstable.
that likes to drive Nissan Sentras on a
I was just gonna leave it at emotionally unstable. You going into detail. The Nissan Sentras where you got
Yep.
3 hubcaps on and 1 tire missing. You got a spare riding around. That's who she make music
like
for.
that's who she makes music for.
Yeah.
The Nissan Sentra with the 3 hubs missing at a club on Saturday night, and everybody hopping out there, they're fully dressed up, right? Knowing damn well there's somebody in there don't got a registration or whatever. That's the music who she make it for. I gave it a listen because you know what? I said I want to be an unbiased ear and I want to give it a shot. Cause I usually try to give somebody like, okay, I'm trying to figure out why y'all like this person. And I hear, first of all, I don't even know what the name of the other song that's popular, the ski, whatever. I don't know what the name of that song is, but like my wife was walking around like just yelling at randomly, and I was like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you don't even listen to this. But I tried to give the song a listen to, and I was like, yo, nah, we gonna throw the whole thing away. And I know there's some people who probably think that album is absolutely amazing. And I know she popping all over the place. I think she was in wrestling recently. She's all over the place. I can't. The song is doo doo. The verse is doo doo. And then if you hear the transition from his verse to back to the song, it just speaks to why I don't listen to this. This is I see what he was trying to do, and I see where we give credit for attempting. All right, we give credit for attempting out here, but sometimes you got to let that L sit and maybe just disappear for a minute. Maybe you should have came back with a hit like he did with Pusha T. How he took that massive L, then he came back with a what was it? God's Plan? I'm trying to remember what song it was.
Yeah,
Or
I
Nice for
think
What?
it was no, was it not
in my
God's plan?
in my feelings.
Was it In My Feelings?
Is it Kiki?
It
Dang,
could be In My
wait.
Feelings.
I think God's Plan might have came first. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. He kind of went on a run after that. I think that's when Views came out.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
you go.
remember we had this conversation, and I hate that we didn't catch this, but we had this conversation a little bit towards the end of the pod, to where it was like, what can he honestly do at this point? I
Nothing.
know y'all was like, y'all like Drake with the melodies, quoting Kendrick and everything, but it's like,
Absolutely.
what can
Yeah.
he absolute everything that he puts out, just the same way you shooting down this verse? You don't think people are gonna shoot down other songs, other verses, other projects that he's putting out, especially if he tries the culture vulture approach? Like, it's about to
Now
be
you better
hard
sing
for
it
that man to come out and drop something, and if he lets it
as it
simmer
as it
past
should,
summertime, I don't know.
as it
If he
should,
lets it simmer
as it
past
should.
summertime, I don't think it's gonna hit the same. Remember, For All the Dogs came out like almost around what, the fall, going towards the winter, like, and that
That's
that
true.
album didn't really hit like that. So if he lets it simmer past summertime, it's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be
He
ugly.
better sing some doo-wops because at this point we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear none of that crap. You better sing some doo-wops, my brother. You better get outside in the rain like the '90s, start grabbing air, singing in the rain because I don't want to hear none of that. I just want to see this. This is I want to see from Drake. I
Hey,
don't want to
the
see none of
Drew
that
Hill
stuff.
hop. You gotta get back to it. Come on now. We gotta get back to it. Come on.
I want
Black
to
man,
hear
come on.
none
We
of that
gotta
other
do
stuff.
better with this R&B. For
We
real.
got to do better with the R&B. Which I'm glad you said that. I don't know if anyone wanted to add up to the other stuff, but I'm sick to talk about Drake. I'm glad you said something about the R&B because it looks like Jermaine Dupri was talking real crazy about the Apple 100's best, the 100 best albums of all time, and he
Oh
said that
yeah.
R&B didn't really have any representation. Thriller got 2 on the list if I remember correctly. SZA was on there, and I think hers was a top 10. Confessions was like 90 some 98 or something on the list. No Mariah Carey on the list. I don't think
No,
Michael
Boys the
Jackson,
Man. That Boys the
Boyz
Man
II Men
album.
wasn't on the list.
Boys the Man was not on. Like, come on, bro. Drew, I don't
And
even
then
think I seen Drew Hill on the list while we were sitting here just
nah,
talking about Drew Hill. Like, this is crazy.
nah, that wasn't on the list either. And then I think a lot of people were upset on the fact that Blonde from Frank Ocean was, I think it was top 5.
Yeah, I
And
think
it
so.
wasn't Channel Orange. And a lot of people were really upset about that. So from the list, if you guys did see the list, was there anything that truly upset you guys about the list, or were you guys just kind of like fine with it?
Yeah, it was something that truly upset me, but I'm gonna keep that for off camera because I look at that list and I see exactly who designed this list. And I'm gonna leave that alone. But I see
Okay.
who's in this, and it's a lot of people who talk about music and don't have that music experience that are in these
Yeah.
rooms that don't need to be in these rooms. You have people judging hip hop and who's this, that, and the third in hip hop, and it's never been around hip hop culture. They sign paperwork.
True.
So
True.
those are the same people who's putting these lists out who are not outside to understand the significant impact that some of these real albums that did not make the list have had. Me as a young kid growing up, being around my OGs, Boys the Men was slapping. Drew Hill was
100%.
slapping. Being
Yep.
around my mothers and my aunties, Alicia Keys was slapping. So
Yep.
to like that list is astronomical to me in the wrong way. Like for real. I'ma just
I don't even think
chalk
TLC
that.
was on there.
Like, come on, man.
No, I don't think so. And I remember, I think a complaint that I saw people making, and so it's not like an original thought here, but that if for certain artists, if they only got the one album, they were like, that's not the album you would put as their best album. You know, they
Gotcha.
True.
made that mistake with multiple people. It wasn't even exclusive to one genre, but obviously, definitely with like rap albums and stuff like that. A lot of people were like, why wasn't it this one instead of that one? So I did notice that, but I didn't like read the list like the whole way through. I just saw a couple of videos on it, but that was the main thing I saw people were saying.
I don't remember seeing Casey and JoJo on there. Like that list
No.
is crazy.
I don't even think and this could just be me because I'm a Lupe fan. Was Food and Liquor on there?
No.
No,
That's,
I don't
that's
think so.
crazy work. That's crazy work. I get it. I get it. Some people were mad that I guess was it Life After? No. One of Biggie's albums was on there that it wasn't the album that they really wanted. And then they're just upset that I guess recency bias with like SZA's album being so high on there. Now I know they had to do like a bunch of like I know
She
they
was
do
the one they
everybody.
said was the wrong album. I forget which one they put on there, but everyone was like, why wouldn't you put, I think, Control over whatever the one they picked or vice versa?
Now, do you think we should give these lists that much merit? Like, should because it's just Apple's list, right? It's
No.
only Apple's list, and a lot of people, Spotify can come up with something different. Like YouTube can come up with something different. Like everybody can come up with their own list. I mean, Billboard can come up with their top 100 albums. Like everybody can. So should people really invest so much energy in these lists? Like people really being upset about it? Because I do have to say that I am glad that Lauryn Hill did get the #1 spot. Because I feel like I would feel some type of way if it was something else. I won't speak on that on here. I don't want to alienate nobody, but I do feel like super happy that Lauryn Hill, especially since that album, I think transcends
The impact.
like the impact of it transcends different generations. As like even if you hear it today, you still feel like yeah, you could still play this a lot of these songs today, and they'll still be relevant. It'd still be up to par. So I am happy that that album is #1. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Now I know some people are really upset that the album's #1, but I'm okay with it.
It's only right.
There's nothing to be upset about. I mean, unless they were just going off of like, I don't know what their criteria was. Like, was it like most records sold or just like random things that they just felt meant to be in the top 100? Because obviously, I think is Thriller the #1 selling album. So they had it pretty close up there, but maybe they felt it would be cliche to put it #1 or something like that just because of that. But I don't know what they were going off of. It would be nice if they actually made like a top 100 based on what the actual streams are. But I don't know if they actually want to release that top 100 because, we talking earlier about people listening to Sexy Red and some random stuff's going to be on that list depending
I
on
don't
how
think that
long they
list would
go,
not
how
even
much
be
data
fair
they
though.
have for that. My bad.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying I don't think a streaming list would kind of be fair because you got to think a lot of these albums came out before the whole streaming thing, and then when you look
True.
at the excuse me, when you look at the whole streaming concept, it's what like 75 plays or something like that to a stream for it to count as a sale. So even if you was to do it off that, it'll kind of not be fair to a lot of artists. But my whole take with the listing, I've been over list period because it's always anytime a list come out, you can always make a whole nother list of the things that should have been on that list. So it's like, what's the
Yeah.
point?
True. True. It kind of reminds me of like the NBA and like the GOAT debate and how like it's different eras, different genres, different things that we could talk about that worked during that time, but you can't compare it to another time. So I get why it can be like an issue for a lot of people, especially when it comes down to uh recency bias and newer listeners voting on stuff they don't really they didn't really hear about back in the day, so they wouldn't really resonate with it. So that's why that wouldn't be higher on their list. So I can see how people get really upset with that. One thing people were talking about how and this is the conversation that got really good that you guys missed out on. The lost episodes will say a lot of people were saying that Kanye didn't have a lot of albums on there and that he deserved to have a lot more albums on that list. So I know for us, let me go ahead and just bust this out real quick, if y'all don't mind. We have a tier list, okay? Because the thing y'all missed where we were really debating about these Kanye albums, which one was good, which one wasn't, which ones were worth it. And I think Daniel did a deep dive into every single Kanye album. My man put in work. So we're about to go through it because if I remember correctly, now I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. I know somebody was defending a certain trash album, but we gonna talk about it.
How, Sway?
Oh, you with Life of Pablo?
We gonna
You
talk about it. We
let's
gonna
talk
talk about it.
about it.
We
Let's
gonna
talk
start
about
from
it.
the we gonna start. All right. So I'm trying
We
to
going
okay.
in release order?
Do you guys want to go on a release or do you just want to go from
We can
what's
do that.
shown here?
It doesn't matter. Either way, whatever's easier.
We can do that.
Yeah, I'm looking at them. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing missing. Now we got late registration. That's there. Graduation. I think we're. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good.
So where we
But
start in 2006 and up, we not talk about
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
past that, right?
yeah. Six and up.
Okay.
Six and up. But you said something about Kanye's best sample. I'm not gonna let you off the hook. You said something
Oh
about
yeah.
Kanye's best
Oh yeah.
sample.
Let's get into it. Yeah,
Let the people know what you think his best sample was.
we'll do. Now, I told Mike, this is a personal of mine. This can get played anywhere, anytime, any feeling. In my opinion, this is one of the best Rick Ross verses, and I'm not the biggest Rick Ross fan. But the fact that Kanye literally made this man go back and rewrite his verse just goes to show not one, the dedication and the perfection in his music and why I became a Kanye fan, but two, the fact that you actually went in the studio and tried because you know this man was not gonna take anything less from you. And you can hear it in how he spits this verse. Now, proceeding. This is the best sample to me. This goes against everything. Now, say what you want. Devil in a New Dress. My personal favorite. From the Mike Dean guitar solo to just the way that that beat flows, you can literally play that instrumental and fall asleep in a good way, not in the J. Cole way, but in a good way.
Hey
So it's like,
yo, J. Cole catching strays,
I'm just
catching
saying, like,
strays.
I'm just saying, it'll make you fall asleep in a good way, feeling like you just woke up from a good nap. I'm talking about the nap to where you got the pillow on the side of your face, type like, man, I didn't even know I was asleep for that long. That's what good
I'm
vibes will
crying.
do for you. So I was asking a few people around. A couple people said Wonder. I think Mike, you said you didn't say Jesus Walks. What did you say?
I said Through the Wire.
Through the Wire. Through the Wire. Now, Through the Wire is a good. It's a good one. No smut.
God tier.
No smut. It's a good one, but it's not Devil in a New Dress. I'm sorry.
Stop it.
I'm
Stop
sorry.
it. Stop it.
I'm sorry.
That Through the Wire is crazy. Stop it.
It is. It is. But
That's number one.
okay, so let me set a criteria for you, my friend. Let me set a criteria for you. So we're not moving the goalposts like how you like to do. So
Okay. Okay.
I'm just saying. So, and you can disagree with it, you can agree with it, but I'm going off of vibes.
Okay.
I'm going off of impact because I gotta be fair. Vibes, impact, and I'm going off of just the overall feeling of the song. Now, in my criteria, I'm giving impact to Through the Wire. That song set off a whole wave. That song is what put Kanye on the path to being the Kanye that we know, love and hate. So now I'm giving vibes to Devil in the New Dress because, like I said, there's nothing on that Through the Wire song that's gonna compare to that Mike Dean guitar solo. I'm sorry, and he put it in the right place at the right time before that Rick Ross verse came on. It just made it chef's kiss, even better. So now, overall feeling of the song. When I play Through the Wire, like you said, that's a god tier song as far as creativity, as far as production, engineering. That song is amazing. That song does not have replay value to me. I'm sorry.
Stop. Stop.
And I'm
Daniel,
not saying no. Hold on. I'm not
this
saying like
man,
replay
this
value
man is
to the point
crazy.
to where I don't want to hear it again. I'm not saying like that. But I'm saying I can literally probably go the whole week with Devil in the New. If I didn't have no other music on earth besides them two Kanye songs, I can wake up all week and play Devil in the New Dress as the first song that I hear in the morning, and I won't get tired of it. Through the Wire, I could probably play that 5 out of the 7 days, but the other 2 days I'm gonna need a break. And that's just me
That's
being honest. That's not me
crazy.
calling it a bad song at all. I love that song. But Devil in the New Dress is a whole vibe. Through the Wire is a whole story. It's in two different lanes, brother. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This man.
And I'm sure the comments is gonna agree with me. But
Gonna agree with you. Said gonna agree with you?
don't gonna agree with me. Yes.
That's crazy.
Unless they haven't heard Devil in the New Dress.
I'll remove your comments if you agree with me.
Hey, y'all see what I mean? Y'all see what I mean about this man dangerous, man. I be
Well,
You
telling
wonder
you.
how my face felt? You should, or Mace felt. Thank God ain't too cool
I
for the
get it.
safe belt.
I get
Yeah,
it. We're
okay.
talking about samples. You're getting in the lyrics now, my brother. Like
But just me saying that those little bars, you can hear
that don't have nothing to
the
do with
beat.
the sample of the
You can
song.
hear that beat in the back. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Daniel, step in.
I'm torn because honestly, for a song like Through the Wire to me is like it represents that moment in time and the circumstances that were attached to it. So
Agreed.
get just on that alone, it's hard for me to like want to just play it over and over. It's more like it's like listening to like Last Call. It's like a 12-minute song. We're kind of just telling a story, and I do like Last Call a lot, and I have
Agreed.
listened to it a bunch of times on the back end of the album. Just let it run, but at the same time, like you're not always just going to listen to that, you know. So for me, that's why I would give the edge to Devil in a New Dress, but I also don't like it enough to put on the level that you're putting on as far as like your favorite Kanye sample. Um, if I'm gonna throw mine out there, mine is probably Gone. And just because if we're talking about vibes, I don't know, it's like one of my favorite Kanye songs. And also I give it gets like an extra, I don't want to say credit like a school or something, but it gets like a boost because I like it when the sample is integrated into what they're saying, or if they're rapping along and it like the sample like is in there. It's too late, he's gone, so it's like mixed in together. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Um, Another example of that, and this is not I'm assuming Kanye made the beat, but this is definitely not my favorite sample of his, but just popped into my head was that song with Rhyme Fest, Brand New. You guys remember that song?
Oh,
I don't like it
I
unless
love
it's
that song.
brand new. You might see me in
Yeah,
my
I
brand
seen you
new
in my
whip.
brand new whip, brand
Yeah.
new. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but anyways, that's another example of where the sample, like they're just working it into the rapping that they're doing on the hook, and I like stuff like that. So again, I'm
Yeah,
just mentioning that as another example, but Gone would be my favorite sample, probably, just because again, it actually is like part of the song with their when they're rapping. So I don't know, just I like that one a lot.
Understandable.
I feel it. I feel it. You know what? Forget all them samples. Bound is the best sample he's ever did.
Bound's dope. Bound got a lot of
So that
hate when it's coming out, but Bound aged good in my opinion.
Bound's it's a great sample. It's trash verses. But let's get into the college dropout.
Okay,
The
college dropout.
college dropout.
I mean,
Where are we putting
2004.
this on the
oh,
tier of
I mean, we
Kanye greatness?
we ran through some of these in on the last episode, we'll call it, and we had mentioned some of these were like classics. So where's a
Automatic.
classic on this list? Is a classic an S?
So
Yeah.
S is classic God tier above the rest.
Okay, so you never call an album a classic and then put it on A. So if it's a classic, I give it S here.
All
Okay.
right. Are
S
we
tier.
all in agreement?
Yes. All falls
The
down as a
dropout.
banger still.
Okay. So now we gonna get into the next one. Late registration.
S.
All right.
For sure.
These are automatics.
For sure.
These are automatic. So the next one we got is graduation, right? I'm
Yes.
just put it where it needs to be. Let's just put this thing where it
I
needs to
think
be.
we all agreed on the first three albums last
The
Yeah.
time.
first three. The first three we're all in agreement on.
This is where it got sticky though.
So the first three, y'all, if you see, we are all in agreement. So these are classic top tier albums.
Off the dribble.
We all said, okay, these are the ones.
Off the
Just
dribble.
Now,
to poke the Kanye bear, can I say that of those three,
okay,
graduation for me is the closest one that it would be an A, but it's so good overall that
Mhm.
it's still to me it's still a classic. But it's a it
okay,
from I feel like it's a little bit of a, maybe I'm completely wrong in saying this, but I feel like it's a little bit slower paced album or a little bit more mellower. Like again, it's not really like there's not like a breathe in, breathe out or get them high stuff like that. That's like a little bit more upbeat. And for
yeah,
me, like I said last time we talked, I prefer something that's a little bit more bouncier and stuff like that. But I still love graduation. I mean, there's some songs on there that I'm still gonna say the word classic when I reference it. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that, like, just to even put a little mild controversy in saying that's the closest one to an A for me of those three.
they ain't ready for the hate comments. Okay, so those three are probably the God tier Kanye albums. Now this is where it gets tricky, y'all. This is where we started. It started getting little, and Trey audio started messing up. That's how crazy it was. Because that's why
Man.
we trying to figure this out. So the next one, the next Kanye album is, well. First of all, how did we introduce the Kanye to the conversation? Oh, we introduced it because we were talking about the beef. And then how Kanye put his response out and
Jumping in.
nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody cared.
All right,
Everybody
Kanye.
said,
Get about
all
your
right, all
business,
right,
bro.
all right, man.
All right, bro. Hey, what would we saying, Mike? Hey, big dog. Just go ahead and exit. Like
Hey, big dog, go and clock out. Go
go ahead and clock out, big dog.
and clock out, big dog. So that's how the conversation came up. Just for reference for y'all.
I like how dismissive we're being of Kanye while we're talking about how good all
Yeah,
his
right.
albums are. Get out of
You
here,
got to.
Kanye. By the way, these are classics.
So you got to take it like this. I believe that we got two versions of Kanye. No. It's like four. It's like four versions of Kanye that we've gotten in our lifespan. Uh we got I don't want to say hip hop Kanye because that's a little strange. We got backpack Kanye, and then I call it, and I know some people might hate me for saying this. I call it, uh, I call it after death Kanye because I feel like after his mom passed away, we started
Absolutely.
we started getting a different version of Kanye that I was like, yo, what's going on? And you can see it ain't been the same since. And then we got Saved by Jesus Kanye. You got, Make America Kanye. We got so many Kanyes. So as much as you guys hate Kanye, if you hate him, you love him. He's the polarizing figure in hip hop. He's probably one of the top 10 greatest MCs all time, greatest producers all time. So even though you hate the man, you got to give him his due. You got to give him his respect. And, he has some great God tier moments and he has some bad moments, but we got to give him his respect. The one thing we won't give his respect is that trash ass Drake verse that you talk about. But as we go through, the next one is the
Man,
808s.
bro.
808s and
Real
Heartbreak. And I think this is the first one that we kind of disagreed on.
Yeah, this is where the disagreement happened. And then real quick, just to piggyback off of you and Daniel, because y'all made some great points. Like I feel like with graduation, you can literally kind of hear the transition into him going into 808s with how the pace changed with that album, especially with 808s coming right after. And then
Yep.
on top of that, I just wanted to say, I don't know if y'all noticed, but it's something that I caught on to. The versions of Kanye that you elaborated to, Mike,
Mhm.
I feel like we got a new version every time the woman in his life changed. So you
Ah,
got to
yes,
think
absolutely,
when
absolutely.
he was with Amber Rose, there was a certain sound. Once his mom died, he transitioned into a certain sound. When he was with
Absolutely.
Kim, he had a certain sound. When him and Kim got divorced, now he got a certain sound. I feel like his sounds changed with the women in his life once they situation changed. That's just something that I noticed. But
I
yeah,
agree with
back to the list. 808s and Heartbreaks to me, I put that down as a classic. Love
that.
Lockdown was amazing, and I was that was probably my first major introduction into Kanye West that made me want to go back and listen to those previous three albums because I was so intrigued
Okay.
by the creativity of 808s and Heartbreaks. I've never heard a sound like that before. I like the first time I heard it, like I seen the Love Lockdown music video playing on 106 in Park, and I know I'm showing my age right now, but I seen the music video playing on 106 in Park, and I was like, man, this is trash. And then I ended up
Shit, that's
actually
showing
getting the
face.
album. I was crazy. And then I actually ended up getting the album and listening to the album as a whole, and I got so intrigued by it. That album really just made me a lover of music in all general. That's why I hold Kanye to a different pedestal because a lot of my introductions is kind of weird. My introduction to gangster rap was Bone Thugs and Harmony. My introduction to
Okay.
real music was Kanye West. My introduction to R&B was Boys the Man. Like I was all over the place with music, but 808s,
Yeah.
it's up there.
Okay. You already know how I feel. Daniel, go ahead and chime
Yeah,
in
we know how you feel, Mike.
before I crack
Yeah.
some drinks.
So I mean, honestly, for me, it was a timing thing, and I want to say it's weird that you mentioned that that about that was kind of like your introduction to Kanye West because that kind of was also timeline wise. That's pretty much the first full Kanye album I heard, and then I did go back. So actually, I had the same experience. So maybe that's why at the time that album also meant a lot to me. But the main reason why 808s hit hard for me is I literally just had went through a breakup like immediately right before that album came out. So timing wise, it was like almost like what I needed to hear, I suppose, or something I could relate to. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like almost every track on there. There's like maybe two or three songs that I'll probably skip just because maybe they're a little long or a little slow, but I like pretty much the entire album. So for me personally, it's an S. But I know because of the what how divisive this album is, it could go on anywhere on this list depending on who's making it.
All right, let me crush some dreams now.
Come on, Mike. Go ahead and be heartless. No pun intended.
808s and Heartbreak. And I went back and re-listened to the album. 808s and Heartbreak was definitely a different sound for Kanye. And we know how polarizing that album was because of how at the time that's before the auto-tune wave just took over. And T-Pain was doing his audio stuff. I mean, his auto-tune stuff, and everybody was cool with it. and then Kanye did his thing, and then I remember seeing, and I think it was a double XL, and double XL is trash. Double XL when it comes down to the freshman class, and a majority of them said how 808s inspired their sound, and you can tell, but a bunch of rappers coming in and just rapping on auto tune, like it's crazy now. Like Future raps on auto tune, almost everybody raps on auto tune. I want to refrain from downing this album because of the impact it had for the rap generation after it, that just took that album and just made that their sound. So, based on impact, based on the impact of the album, I'm going to place it in the S tier. But personally, for me, album's a B or A. It's cool. I dug it when it came out. I felt like it served its purpose. I give it that higher nod because of the impact it gave to hip hop in general. Because it's 808s and Heartbreak was the Steph Curry for hip hop. It was nobody wanted everybody to shoot threes. Steph Curry came in, shot threes. Now we got Big shooting threes for some reason. Pace and space. Like that's pretty much what it is now. 808s and Steph Curry. Like once that came out, everybody was rapping on autotune and you can't stop it. So with that being said, regardless of if you want to hate on Steph, if you want to hate on 808s, it's gonna get its respect because of the impact it had on the game. Now, do I feel like it's his best work? For me, absolutely not. And that's just for me. But for the impact, I will put it at the S tier. I will agree with you on S tier.
That's fair.
Yo,
That's fair.
what's making me laugh is the reason you gave, which is the impact. Right before that, you said everyone started doing auto tune, and in my opinion, that's like the worst rap we got out of that after that.
100%.
But I wouldn't
100%.
even put that on 808s. I'll put that on
Yeah, that's
Lil
what I was gonna
Wayne.
say.
Lil Wayne birthed a lot of people with his mixtape run. A lot of his mixtape run
That's
was
true.
auto-tune. And
But
we
if you
hold
look,
mixtape Wayne in high regard.
this is true. But if you look at the interviews, they all credit 808s and Heartbreak.
Yeah,
They
we know
all
that's true.
credit 808s. Regardless how I feel about it, regardless how and Auto-Tune Wayne was absolutely, we're not even gonna get into that.
Yeah, we ain't got to. We know the truth.
We're not here for that. We got an hour. We're not gonna we're not gonna get into that. So the next one I believe we have is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, right? That was the next one that came up.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that one. Now for me personally, this album is absolutely fire. But for you guys,
Okay.
He was about to scare me.
Yeah,
He was
dude,
about
I
to
thought he
scare
was
me.
messing. I thought he was gonna throw
Yeah,
it out as
I
a
thought
B
he
or
was
something.
about to. Yeah, man, it was about to be
this
ugly, Mike.
this album, I don't know if you guys seen the MTV rollout that he had for it, like the little like the film thing that he kind of had going for it, where it was like, and I think this might have been the first. Was this the first bit of Angry Kanye?
Yeah.
This might have been the first Angry Kanye. But like, if you've seen that rollout, and I think it's still on YouTube, and it's playing songs like, and in this like journey of like, it was like this alien, and he's like with this, and I can't explain it to you because we don't have the time. But the album is fucking god tier. Like the whole album, the whole breakdown, the verses, like and you guys talk about him getting people to rewrite bars, like him having Pusha T to rewrite his verse. And I was like, yo, and the verse is fire as it is. So I don't know what the previous verses that he had on that album, but that album is absolutely crazy. But what do you guys think? Did we keep it in classic or did we take it out?
No, I think we all agreed on that.
Yeah. No question.
Okay, so what we're saying is Kanye had a top tier first 5 album run. This is what we're saying.
And who else has done that?
That's a good one.
So I mean,
Who's had 5 classics in a row
to
start with?
It's his first 5. His first 5. Come on, man.
Mm.
1, 2,
No.
3, 4, 5 plus 5.
I
I feel
mean, I
like
guess it depends on
go
what you
ahead, Daniel.
consider his first album. I was the only person I could think of really is like Michael Jackson, but he's made albums when he was a little kid. So where do you start at?
Right.
That's
And
true.
I don't know. Other than
Hip
that,
hop.
I can't
We'll
really
we'll
think
stick
of
to hip
another.
hop.
Yeah,
I
okay,
feel
my
like
bad.
Kanye
Nobody.
West. I feel like Kanye West is not the Steph Curry of music, but I feel like Kanye West is the Kyrie Irving of music. And you got to think about it like this: Kyrie Irving, he has his own style. People look at Kyrie, oh, he's the best skilled, he's the best. Woo, he's we've never seen anybody like him. If he was playing in the '80s, they'd think he was doing witchcraft. But yet, and still, when you ask people about the top 5 point guards in the league, they never have Kyrie in the top 3.
Crazy work.
Crazy work, and I feel like that's Kanye.
What came next after Twisted Fantasy? It was because he took a
Watch
break.
the Throne.
Watch the
No.
Throne. Watch the Throne was 2011.
Twisted was 2010, so it may have been Watch the
Okay,
Throne.
so was Watch the Throne, and then after that it was
Jesus.
was it Yeezus?
Yeah.
Yeezus. Okay, Yeezus. Yeezus. All right.
Did we not
I'm
agree that Watch the Throne album was a Kanye album?
yeah, we did. We did.
I feel like we agreed
And
on that last one.
we agreed. We put it up there. It combines. So where are we placing it though? Because Watch the Throne did have some bops on it. It had Otis. It had No Church in the Wild.
I don't think we put it as a classic, but we did put it up there. So that might be like a.
I
So I
mean,
think I think Trey. I think you said this resonated with you more than the rest of us. I don't know if it's an A for me.
I
That
wouldn't put it as
Beyonce.
an
I'm
A.
thinking B as well.
That Beyonce
I
song
would
is
say
trash. I'm sorry.
I liked it. I liked it.
Did you? I
I liked
skipped. I went and listened to like the first part of it, then I skipped it and I said, you know what? I have to listen to the whole thing because like that's not fair. And I went back and I was so upset that I listened to the rest of that.
You were harsh, bro.
I mean, I mean, I just re-listened to it. I mean, all these albums to prepare for this and Watch the Throne. I told you guys before, I actually bought the CD when it came out, so I listened to the whole thing a bunch of times.
Shame on
I
you.
mean, I loved it at the time, but re-listening to it, there was more stuff that I forgot that I really liked about the album, so I was happy to like feel more positive about because I was actually expecting to like maybe hate it in retro, going back to it. But there is a few things on there where I'm like, I'm not really feeling either how it comes in or how it comes out on some of these songs, and then also, I don't know how close it is timeline wise to when Jay-Z did. We also mentioned this. What's the Magna Carta Holy Grail, which is not a very good album, and
Brag
so
rap.
there's just like a smidge of that here sometimes, but overall I was impressed with going back to it, and it's at least a B. It's very close to an A, but I think I would still put it at a B.
I got that thing on B minus. It can hit a C. There's some hits on there. There's some songs on there that carry. There's some songs that carry, and then there's some songs that suck the air out the room real quick. And I was like, yo, like Ham. I used to think Ham was like God tier. Then I re-listened to it. And I was like, oh
trash. No.
Yeah.
I can't listen to that no more.
The mixing could have been way better. I'll give you that. But
yeah,
it's a good album, not a great album, but not a bad album either.
Yeah, Ham's a great instrumental after that. So the next album after that. So we got Watch the Throne at 2011. And then the one after that is gonna be Yeezus. Yeezus. Now, Yeezus, my friend. To me, I know we can argue different things. Yeezus is the downfall. Yeezus is the downfall. I do not care. Yeezus is the downfall. I tried. I tried with the Chief Keef. I tried with all that. It was just like, like this wasn't. I'm sorry. There's some songs on there on Yeezus that they're absolutely good. I can stomach bound for the comedy factor, but I'm gonna let y'all. I'll talk me out the sea. Talk me out of the sea.
You want to go, Daniel, or
Uh, so I know on the previous lost footage, lost tapes, um, my recollection of Yeezus was definitely more positive than the re-listen.
Okay.
So if it is a C, it's a high C, but I would probably put it more like at a B minus, just because I do understand what the vision was for this album. I just feel like it was almost like doing too much to do that vision. And there's some songs that I feel like, especially like, just like the opening track, was it On Site, and how like stripped
Mhm.
down it sounds. It feels incomplete now that I go back and listen to it. I'm like, it feels like the song was not done yet. So there's some stuff like that that I'm like, ah, dang, I forgot about that. But there are some elements of Jesus that I really, really like. I think I mentioned last time, I was trying to remember the name of the song. I believe it's Guilt Trip. I like that one a lot, and the other few other songs. So I don't know. I still agree with the vision, and I would probably put it more like a B minus, but I'm not mad at it being a C.
Go ahead, Trey. Do what you got to do.
Now, just to make it quick, I don't think Watch the Throne is a better album than Yeezus. So if we're gonna have Watch the Throne as a B, then Yeezus needs to go up there at least as a B. In my opinion, this came out in 2013. I was still in high school.
he did the
I was
opposite. My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
For the people who can't see, and if you're watching on YouTube, he
Yeah.
said he made his point as you heard, and so for that per that logic, I definitely moved.
Nah. Nah. Both of them are B level albums at the least.
That's
To me,
crazy.
in my opinion,
Okay.
Yeezus came out at a time to where like the whole I'm big on the way music makes me feel. That's the main thing, bro. You can move it back up. You can move it back up. I'm big on the way music makes me feel. When Yeezus came out, Yeezus was active. Yeezus was upbeat. Yeezus was at a time in my life to where I was super into like rap, hip hop, and again, that was something different. When I heard that on the way to practice, when I heard that outside skating, putting my earphones in, tuning everything out, going to the gym, Yeezus was my go-to. I probably played that album on consensus more than a lot of other people, but that other people resonate. I mean, that album resonates well with me. So I would put it as in my opinion as an A. If I had to settle, I would put it down as a B. I would put it down as a B. Look, bro. When the last time you dropped the album, Pain? Come on, man. Like I will put it down as a B at the least. I get where you coming from, Mike. But
Gotta move this man from like,
I feel like you're being super harsh on this album for the wrong reasons. I feel like this album did a lot of good as far as I'm not saying it's the best in his discography. I'm not saying it's one of the highest in his discography, but come on, bro. That album slapped. That was a slapper. It's not a classic, far from a classic, but it did what it was supposed to.
and that's why I gave it C for classic.
Yeah. Anyway, bro, you're wilding. You're wilding.
I mean,
I go for it, Dan.
I mean, this is unfortunately it's three people here, so it would be 2 out of 3. And if I had to if you're forcing me to pick one over the other, especially if we're contrasting Watch the Throne versus Jesus for this particular, I'm okay with leaving it how it is right now. Because I would, if I hadn't only if could have one of those two albums, I would pick Watch the Throne over Yeezus. But again, I'm not saying Yeezus is bad. It's just if we're going with Watch the Throne as a B, then Yeezus is right below it. But like I said, it's more like a B minus to me. You know.
Understandable.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that there. So the next one.
I'm okay with it.
So
Sorry,
the
Trey.
next
Agree to
will the next
disagree.
one will the next one be Cruel Summer?
I think so. That sounds right.
I think it is Cruel Summer. Yeah, this might irritate y'all if you like use this. I'm gonna put Cruel Summer I remember somebody told me they didn't really love this album, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
Would you really call that a Kanye album though? I don't think
I
that
mean,
was a Kanye album, bro. I think
it's a
that was
more,
like
it's a more good, it's a good music collective.
you remember when
Yeah.
Lil Wayne came out with that Young Money album with Bedrock
Yeah,
on there? That's what I would put this album like. I wouldn't really call this a
I agree.
Kanye album.
It's
I,
fire though.
I don't
It
remember
is
enough of the
A tier for
of
sure.
I definitely put that at 8. I'm definitely
A
putting
tier
Cruel
for
Summer at
sure.
8.
A tier for
oh
sure. It had a
man.
lot of bangers on there. Introduced a lot of people.
Yeah. There's a few
New
songs on
God
there.
Flow.
Yeah, I love New God Flow. Also, there's some songs that obviously at the time, especially when I was talking about last time about just like songs that like sound good in the car and stuff like that, stuff like Click.
Yeah,
Um,
Click is good.
Mercy.
Mercy. Who had the best? Who had the best verse on Mercy?
I would.
oh,
I don't know if y'all agree, bro, but I'm taking Big Sean. Big Sean's
You
verse was
what?
hard.
What?
Big Sean's verse was hard.
Big Sean verse always sound like he don't want to be there.
That's a
he
fact. That's a fact.
he opens the song.
Drop him to
Drop
the
it to
floor.
the
Make
floor.
that
Make that
shake.
ass shake.
Whoa,
Yeah,
make that ground move.
Ground
That's
move.
like he don't
That's
even sound
it.
interested in his own verse.
yeah. I mean, I think you had asked me that before, Mike, and I went back and listened to the song, and I did give a slight edge, I think, to Big Sean on that one,
That's
just because
crazy.
but
Yes, Mike, you be super hard, bro. You gotta
also,
relax. Bro. You gotta chill.
but honestly, that's not even one of my favorite songs on the album, which is strange because I feel like maybe it was just one of those things where like I was hearing it too much, like on the radio, people's cars driving by and stuff like that. So maybe it's just one of those things where I got a little too much of it. So maybe I felt some
Played
type of
out.
way.
I'm drunk
Yeah,
as
but
high at the same time drinking champagne on the airplane.
it is
I was
definitely one
never
of
a
his
Two
best
It
Chains
verses.
rounds like
fan.
a gun range. Beat it up like Rampage.
I
Yeah,
was never really a
Come
2
on
Chains
now.
fan,
I
man.
agree
I'm
with you,
sorry.
man. I've never been a big fan, but not in a like I think he's bad. It's just
I've never
when
just been a
he
fan.
but that verse that Mike's rapping right now, that is probably his best verse. Period. I
And
think.
that's sad.
100%.
That's sad.
Yeah.
For that to be his best verse. That's sad.
That's crazy work. The rest of these are gonna be easy. Let's run through this. The rest of these are gonna be easy.
I personally, and you don't have to move it, but I would bring Cruel Summer down. I think it's even maybe even a tiny cut below Watch the Throne. I feel like Watch the Throne has more individual tracks that hit hard at that time that sound good, and then re-listening to it, there's some songs on there that I just liked at that time that aren't even never were on the radio or anything like that. I think like Brand New
C's
Day and
crazy.
a couple other ones.
So
But
I
yeah,
say A. You're saying C?
no. I would put it at B, but I'm just saying out loud between Watch the Throne and Cruel Summer, I would pick Watch the Throne.
I was trying to be different. All right, so we got.
You guys could keep it at A. I ain't mad.
It's for
about
sure.
it.
Hey, I agree with Mike that it was an A.
You guys could put it back. Hey, that's 2 out of 3. Put it back up.
All right, we're not gonna take this disrespect, so we're gonna put that back as an A. And then, so the next one is Life of Pablo, right?
All right.
Just put that down there with Yeezus.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but Life of
Yep.
Pablo should have been the first C because that's below Yeezus to me, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, Life of Pablo is not good. It's alright. It got some songs you can listen to.
Yeah.
It's not good because the first, and we talked about this on the last episode. We talked about how the first track was like, "Yo, we about to get something like crazy," and then it was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we downhill from here."
Okay, so what we doing with that then? Because y'all can't say that Life of Pablo was a better album or even close to being a better album than Yeezus when you just dog walk Yeezus. So Life of Pablo got to be what, E tier?
You right. Let's put this down.
Hey,
That's crazy. Look, you're wilding, bro. You're wilding.
You know what though? Honestly, I just ran through these albums. I would actually give man. It's so
Oh, you're
close, but
killing me,
depending on
Daniel.
what day of the week it is, I
You're
actually
killing
would
me,
rather hear
Daniel.
Life of Pablo.
100%. 100%.
It's but
There's
I
depending on
could
what day of the
see.
week.
You see, it started off so good going back from the last pod. I felt like we was here with the Kanye, but you killing me right now, man. You killing
But
me.
my memory's fresh, and I'm an old
That's
man
crazy.
now, man. My my recollection,
Y'all right.
the
It's an old
nostalgia
man's
got me.
game out here. I'm out of my league right now, yo. Y'all got it.
Hundred
Y'all got
percent,
it.
100%.
Y'all
Depending on,
turn on that
I
J-Mo
love
at the end
that.
of the day. My bad. I forgot. I
There you
forgot.
go.
My
Yeah, be one with
apologies.
God. All right.
Yeah.
Depending on the day of the week, it could be either one. So both of them being at C's, I'm okay with.
To add though to what he's saying, Jesus is a more like uh a consistent vision for an album. Like it's more cohesive for sure. Life of Pablo is a mess.
All over the place.
And also, we
Hundred
mentioned this.
percent.
Why? I mean, I mentioned that like last time about how there was like multiple versions of Life of Pablo, and there was cuts of some of those songs that were better on the on the leaked or whatever stuff he was doing, or like the first versions that were available for streaming that got pulled. So it also bothers me that it ends up existing in this form. So again, that's why Jesus could go toe to toe with it on depending on where I'm at that day.
I feel it. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make this last part super easy for everybody. I'm gonna make this last part really easy for everybody. All right.
I already know
Stop.
what's going to happen.
Stop me when you want me to stop. But I'm gonna make this really easy for everybody. Save us the rest of this time. Yay, trash. Vultures,
Agree.
trash. Jesus is
Agree.
King, trash.
Agree.
Kids see ghosts, depending on your vibe.
It's a step up above trash for sure, but
It's
it's not.
it's on the trash can lid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's getting in there. It's falling in, but sometimes they hang out. And then, but this might be the one that might switch everything. I think Donda, as confusing mess as it is, I'm gonna put Donda as a C.
I like that
You
album.
guys think?
I don't
You
like it
guys think
as an
low?
album, but it got a lot of different individual songs on there that
So
slap.
I'm
So I would
changing
leave it right
change
there.
it to B.
I would leave it right
I'm
at
changing
B.
it to
Yeah.
B
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
because there's some songs on it. My review of Donda is it is a really good shit show. There is no cohesion with the album. There's no story with the album. It's a collection of random ass songs that were put together. It doesn't really have a. Well, you can say it has a vision because I hear it because you have some songs that have his mom talking on it and stuff like that. So I see what he was trying to do. It just didn't meet for me. But there's songs on here that just carry. See, I was going off. See that they knew I
Yeah,
was
but
speaking.
didn't nobody
I was
want to hear
speaking.
that. That's see
I
how
was
the
speaking.
universe works.
You see what happened was y'all. I was speaking the gospel, and since I was speaking that hot fire, the mic had to turn off because it was overheating because I was speaking that gospel.
Since you was
All right.
speaking that hot trash with that hot breath, the mic
You want
overheated
to
and
you want
turned
to talk
off.
about hot trash? You sitting there talking about that Drake verse. So I'm
Hey,
gonna keep
no,
bringing it up.
no Yeezus disrespect shall be tolerated. This is crazy. This is
You don't
crazy.
think you don't think Donda's a better
But
album
not
than Yeezus?
Donda. If I think if Ye was anybody else, Donda would have been a mixtape. If mixtapes was still a thing,
100%.
that's what
Yeah,
I feel
I
like he
couldn't.
sounds like. As an album, it's not a bad album, but it doesn't really feel like an album. But I feel like that would be a great mixtape.
100%. I agree.
So, would you put it personally at C over instead of B?
No, I would leave it at B. I like it where it's at.
Okay. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if calling it a mixtape was a bad thing or not.
No. I'm just saying if Kanye was anybody else, like if Kanye was anybody else, I feel like that body of work would have been better off as a mixtape. But ain't no such thing as mixtape Kanye. So that's not even
Yeah.
So it
Well,
wasn't an insult. If anything,
in
it
my
was me
head,
saying that it was a good work.
Good Fridays is a mixtape in my head.
True.
Yeah,
I can see that.
True. When I say mixtape, I think of people like who was big on mixtapes: Lil Wayne,
Lil
50 Cent,
Wayne,
Rick
50 Cent.
Ross,
True.
like that type of people who drop
What
mixtapes.
about Chance?
Yeah. And a lot of people just their first like a lot of people just their first thing that we heard from them was just a good mixtape. Kid Cudi,
Right.
Frank Ocean. Not that Frank Ocean wasn't already making music, but you know, what was it? Nostalgia
Some of these
Ultra.
people best works is mixtapes. You know, it wasn't an insult. I just
Like
feel
Oh
like
yeah,
Chance?
no
it
worries.
don't feel like an album. Is all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no worries. I was just like asking for clarity on what you meant by that. That's all. I wasn't sure if it was possibly a negative thing. But no, I just re-listened to it. Actually, when Donna first came out, I didn't really listen to the whole thing front to back at that time. So going back to it now, I did actually enjoy it quite a bit. I'd have to like look at the track list to remember exactly which songs were my favorites, but I definitely enjoyed it. I actually was like pretty impressed and kind of a little disappointed with myself for not listening to it in its entirety when it came out.
If I'm not mistaken, when Donda first dropped, wasn't it an issue with them dropping the wrong version of it or something like that? Like they
Yeah.
dropped it, but dropped the only clean version or something like that, and they had to
Mm-hmm.
go and re-drop it. And yeah,
Yeah.
that
And
Sounds
was a
then
right.
messy drop.
there's like two, I think like okay was on there twice with two different versions.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a few songs with two different versions on there. I was like, yo, y'all
yeah.
Oh,
messing up.
That was
yeah,
all
I
over.
had like it was like just repeats on the end. It almost sounded like it was the same song sometimes, like JL2 and stuff like that. Was am I tripping
Yeah.
or is that
Yeah, yeah.
Jail's a fire song too.
yeah. And that's like the difference between a song like that. I'm trying to think of like a bad Kanye song to really like compare it to, but when we're talking about like different eras or versions of Kanye, there's a like a point in time, and again, I think most of it can just be broken down to before and after his mom passing. I hate to bring that up again, but that's just kind
Yeah.
of how I feel. But at the same time, he was able to kind of hold himself together for what like 2 years to make 808s right after passing, and then Dark Twisted Fantasy. So obviously, but yeah, it gets to a point where Kanye just he knows how to rap, but like the amount of passion and effort that goes into like the verse and how it like matches with the track and all that kind of stuff, like it just drops off from there. Especially, I guess, like you said, Mike, probably around the Yeezus or right after that, you know.
I agree. You can see the
Okay.
switch.
Yeah, like he's just hitting the requirements to say he's rapping and he knows how to do it, but it's like almost like he's on autopilot or going through the motions. And
Yeah.
also a lot of the more recent stuff is more like him airing out his dirty laundry, and that's
100%.
not the same as bringing up stuff that's happening in your real life if you're
Yeah.
just like, I don't know, just like I don't know, it's almost like uncomfortable versus like interesting, you know.
No, 100%. Because if you think about like his earlier stuff, there is if you think about his earlier stuff, there is so much you can take from the verses. There's imagery. There's
It's
like
a lot of
you
uplifting.
can a lot of uplifting, a lot of like hip hop. When people say hip hop, I believe people are talking about like Common or Lupe or you know people like that. But there's a lot of like him like poetry and him like talking, like him letting us know what's going on. You can see that imagery in the verses, and it goes from there to if I this model and she just bleached her, like you like, all right, where do we go from there to here? And it's like, damn,
Yeah.
Kanye, like the quality kind of drop off. Not the production. His production is still top tier in a lot of his stuff, but like when it comes down to the verses and what he's saying, he's definitely not giving out his best quality work when it comes to his verses. And I think Donda was the one time where I was like, okay, some of this is not
Yeah.
bad. Some of this he might be getting his bag back. And then we got vultures. So this list are we agreeing with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but yeah.
I'm fine with this list. I don't really have any major issues. I mean, again, there's a couple there where I said like maybe it's like, minus or plus, like really close, but I like the list as is.
It's crazy work. Last thing before we go, since I mentioned the name, and I seen Trey's face, can Chance the Rapper save his career? Can Chance the Rapper save his career? Damn, like that? No silence.
I think it's possible.
It's American Idol judge time. Rapping is over with. Go be on one of these judge shows, or hey, we just fixed your home. Like, go do one of them. Go sit down somewhere. It's over with.
Highs and Low was dope. That song was dope. What's that one he did with Vic Mensa? Rafe. Those 2 tracks are fire though.
I don't want to hear. So what? So he's gonna single you to death? That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna single you to death. Because I don't want to hear another chance.
He got to.
I don't.
He can't give you a project.
Bro is gonna go aluminum. I don't want to hear a chance out.
Yo, I mean, he got hit so bad with that album. I think his mental was shot. Like honestly, 100%. That album was so bad.
Yeah,
and that was bad.
And that was the worst time to like mess up, because that was like for most people they like the official debut. This is like the real album type of feel or whatever, and it was so far below the quality level that he had put out before.
It was not acid rap at all.
No.
And that's what people wanted. They wanted another acid rap, and he got something that he wanted to play at his wedding reception, bro. You could have went to the studio, made that album, and just gave it to her as a gift. Keep that off the street. We didn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Big Fish was a good song. Until he went to that one, until he started rambling like, but they don't talk about marriage no more. I was like, all right.
No,
all right. All right.
Well,
the other one, Baby, was good too.
You had mentioned one other possible thing to talk about, which is like producers using samples.
Yeah.
And I will say, just to attach it to the Chance thing, is that he just did a song with DJ Premier, and the song was fine, but I just bringing it up because DJ Premier, for me, I don't have like a bunch of songs to point to like off the top of my head or which specific tracks stand out. But like the way he samples is more like in my head what like an old school DJ does. I don't know. I really like what he does with most samples. I like the DJ scratches he adds to a lot of stuff. So I don't know. Most DJ Premier beats, not only can I tell, well, most people could tell it's DJ Premier, but most of them sound good to me.
Okay.
I would say,
you know what?
Go
for it. No, go for it.
I would say DJ Quick, bro. DJ Quick has a lot of great underrated beats. If you go and you listen to a lot of Sugar Free's best work, those are DJ Quick beats. If you go and listen to a lot of cultural classics, as far as street classics, Tonight, We Still Party, so on and so forth, DJ Quick, he uses samples amazing, bro. He has a lot of Betty Wright samples. Like, to me, in my opinion, he's a better producer than Dr. Dre. I feel like he just don't get the same love that Dr. Dre gets because he didn't have the same exposure that Dr. Dre had. They looked at DJ Quick as like a real street dude. Like, he has connections, but he has those underground connections. Like, I know all of these people, but I mean, the songwriting, I'm giving beats. I'm out the background. They're not giving me those opportunities. Look at who Dre came up around with. Look at who Dre is making music for. But if you notice, a lot of Dr. Dre beats, Dr. Dre does not have a signature sound. A lot of these producers that you can point to, they have a signature sound. I can't point to Dr. Dre and be like, okay, yeah, Dr. Dre uses that a lot. Dr. J uses DJ Quick, he has a sound. If you listen to his music, he has a sound. Even DJ Mustard, he has a sound. All of these producers, they have sound. I don't think Dr. Dre has ever had a niche sound. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm willing to also say that the best stuff we've ever heard from Dr. Dre, anyways, is more like Scott Storch's timeline and being involved in production. The older stuff is good, but it's also like of that era as well. When you're gonna say this is like the best Dr. Dre beats, you're probably gonna mention something from Chronic 2001, right?
Yeah, Chronic 2001 is around that time.
Producer talk's kind of hard to do. There's too many. There's too many solid producers. Like you say, like with their own unique sound, like the Pharrell drop. Have you guys noticed he has his own signature like drop where you know this
like little beats at the beginning.
And it's so, to me it's super cool because you know how producers now they got to put their name on it. You know they gotta you know they gotta do that. Yeah. But Pharrell, like you just hear the drop and you like okay, and it's in different sounds, so it's not the same sound. It's not this Metro or something like that.
Signature.
It's like that's your signature, and it's like, and he does it in different sounds, different cadences, different ways. And you're just like, oh, this is Pharrell. Pharrell produced this. So like Pharrell for me is absolute fire. But I know we gotta go. I know we got to go. But again, guys, you can listen to this on everywhere you can hear your podcast. Spotify, Apple Music, whatever random podcast stuff you listen to, we on here. Where can they find you guys if they're trying to reach y'all, if they want to see what y'all doing?
Instagram, Twitter, everywhere that with an ad handle at FGWeezBSF.
Y'all can check out my OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, man. I think most of my
BBL Danny, man, that's crazy.
Nah, it's my old Instagram name. I think it's Heavyset89.
Heavyset89 or at the BBL Daniel.
Yes, sir. You know, because I pay for BBLs to be done. That's why they call me that.
We'll catch y'all next time. And you know what? One of the next topics we'll talk about the next time is how to save Chance the Rapper's career.
That's nasty work, Mike.
That'll be the next topic because there's a way, maybe. There's a way. But again, before we leave, let them know what you guys are listening to and we will sign off.
Same things last time, man. I got Boogie, Westside Boogie. Right now, I'm playing a lot of Rio, the Young OG, Free Bro, and yeah, you already know.
Yeah, he mentioned that last time. I listened to I think the album was called Everything's for Sale.
Everything's for Sale. That's my personal favorite album.
Yeah, I listened to, and I saw like Eminem was on there, and I forget who else. So I you know what? I feel like I may have even heard just that single song with Eminem, like randomly in a playlist, like whenever the album first came out, probably. But yeah, I know what you mean in terms of because I think you brought it up because of Not Like Us having like a West Coast feel. But yeah, I was enjoying it, so I definitely it keeps popping up on like my listen to it again on my YouTube music, so I'm definitely gonna try to go back and finish it. But I was liking what I was hearing.
Yes, sir, Mike. I've been put you on that album like almost a month ago, bro. You gotta get to it.
Sure did. I know. I didn't get on it. I need to get on it. Every time.
Don't feel bad. He probably already recommended you every album Lupe Fiasco made. So.
Yeah. Nah, but we actually had a conversation about Lupe and we agreed on a lot of stuff.
Lupe the man. Don't get me started on Lupe. We got to sign out. Don't get me started on Lupe. But I'll tell you what I'm listening to. For some reason, I keep listening to "Call Me When You Get Lost" again, and then Not Like Us because we playing that shit for the whole summer. So for all of us, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us. We will catch y'all on the next episode. Peace, and we can save Chance the Rapper's career. All right, y'all. And no to Yeezus. No to Yeezus. Just remember that. No to Yeezus. All right, y'all.